Probably a year and a half ago, a young man came in here because he'd been sneaking into the YMCA to start working out there because he was trying to use football as a way to get to college.
Oh, man. Oh, I need to holler at that kid, man. That's what's up. Go ahead.
And I guess like a month ago, I drove him to college.
He playing football?
Yeah. He got a scholarship.
Yep.
He got a full ride via football
That's
to
dope.
go to school, and I got the chance to drop him off at school, and it was just it was awesome. Like I could cry about it right now, just like thinking about it.
Also, to add on to that specific kid, like the predecessors prior to me and Wesley are doing something right. That same kid found out Jeff had left, that there was a new executive director. He walked during winter. I think it was the start of winter. He walked 4 miles because the bus route didn't come here, had no other way, just to introduce himself, just say what's up. And he was like, literally shook my hand, was like, this is who I am, turned around, ready to head back home. I was just like, bro, like, you came here just for that? Your parents, Jeff, you got a lot of people who are raising you right, and you're definitely a good, outstanding young man. Of course, I didn't let him walk back home, but and then there's been at least 2 other stories of prior to me being in this role. Same thing.
Yeah.
Kids who were here year 1 came back just to say what's up.
What's going on, people? This is Nigel.
This is Brad.
And this is the Uplift Fitness Club podcast. So let's rewind for a second, because I feel like it would be dope to start like that. But I do want to tell the people who they're talking to. You understand? So today we got another guest. Y'all are our second and third, I guess, guests on the podcast. And if you would just introduce yourself, we can start from this direction.
Sure. My name is Wes Jameson. We're at MissionFit. I'm the director of development.
Okay.
And I'm Joshua Day. The title that I'll introduce myself as is Executive Director of MissionFit, and we'll get into a lot of the other titles later.
Okay. So quickly, because I feel like y'all are not trying to stay in this realm, but what is MissionFit? I know you guys are primarily a gym, nonprofit organization, but give the people a little bit of context for what you guys do in Baltimore.
So our mission is strengthening Baltimore's youth. We provide a safe space for youth to exercise, and through the vehicle of movement, we try and encourage job readiness, entrepreneurialism, and our latest focus is on changing the coach and health landscape in Baltimore.
Okay. You wanted to share a little bit on that?
I mean, it's pretty much, he nailed it on the head. Strengthening Baltimore's youth, strengthening meaning whatever. We are a space that is a gym that has workout equipment, but, as we were talking previously, it's a lot of the people skills that builds these youth up, that even builds some of the coaches up. Even builds me up, like you've built me up, I built you up where we first met for that warm up.
Yeah.
It's just a place to develop people who want to be developed, primarily youth, but I think a lot of coaches have had experiences where they've also matured and learned some things from kids, whether the kids knew it or not.
So let me ask you this. And each of you guys can answer probably any question that I pose, but what do you feel like you've learned through your experience coaching these kids over the past few years?
I'll let Wes think on that because I feel like he's going to have a good one. For me, it'd be how to recognize what that kid needs in the long term and in the short term. Okay. My background is not with kids. Even as a kid, I was very competitive, and that paid for my college. And I have a very competitive mindset. So when I walk in here, and most of the youth that come in here aren't looking for that, I want to be the best. Aren't looking for that, I need to lift this much weight, I need to run this fast. They're looking for an opportunity. They might say that they want to be the best. We all love feeling, like we are number one, but trying to take it somewhere in a competitive professional sports realm isn't where their head is at that day. And so I have to learn how to turn that off and readjust and meet them where they are. Make workouts fun, which as a Division I athlete, what is fun? So that's been the thing that I've learned, different tools to engage youth where I'm creating sustainable outcomes and not turning them off to, working out is a bore, working out is something that, I'm never going to do.
Right, because that can have like long-term ramifications.
Because when they come inside this gym, a lot of them, that's their first time.
Yeah.
Working out with weights or being in a gym. But that's the biggest thing I have to find is how to give them what they want behavioral wise and make it a good experience.
That's big, meeting people where they are. And that's something that you really have to train just like anything else. Yeah. It's something I struggle with too, like on a daily. Yep. Like even with the people that I care about. It's one thing, I'm probably better at it with kids or people I just met than people that I deal with on a daily basis.
Absolutely. Yeah. And yourself probably.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Sometimes you just have too many expectations for yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's like you just get burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
So what's one thing that you learned from the kids, and then what kind of pivot the conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of different answers, but I would say very similarly to Joshua will be humility and how to listen. I think the kids we work with aren't gonna say, "This is what I need from you right now," but if you listen right, they're telling you. Okay. And my example would have been over this summer, we ran the same program we ran last summer. So we ran our Strength Ambassadors Youth Works program. Mm-hmm. So we have kids for 25 hours a week for 5 weeks. And last year we had 3 young men. It went really well. They were learning from us how to coach, and then they were turning around and coaching other people. And this year we had to run it all virtual. Mm. And it was really, really tough.
Right. What was tough about it?
It was tough. It was tough for me. I went into this year with similar expectations to last year. Mm-hmm. Actually, I went in bigger expectations. It was same youth, same program. So I was like, we learned a ton last year, so we can turn this around and we can reach another level. Okay. And the tough part was it was 100% virtual, and the kids we had been working with hadn't been in school for
3-4 months.
So they were, totally deconditioned, and then they were showing up to work in their sweatpants, still on their couch in their living room.
So it doesn't even feel like work.
So it doesn't feel like work, and they said straight to our faces, like, this isn't what we signed up for, and I'm still trying to drill and pound that this is what we need to get to. This is what we did last year. This is what we need to do, and I'm just beating my head into a very firm wall, and I'm getting frustrated, and they're getting frustrated, and after I think it was probably week 3, we had like a little bit of epiphany, and I was just like, look, this isn't what they need. Mm-hmm. And I think Joshua kind of like sat me down and was just like, this isn't working. This isn't what they're asking for. It's not reaching them. And I was just like, okay, they need something else. They don't need exercise right now. They've been disconnected from everybody for months. They just need connection and belonging. And we just turned the program a little bit. But all that is to say is just learning a little bit how to listen to what the kids are telling you without saying it.
All right, so let me ask you this, because that determining what they need in that moment kind of led me to the recent occurrences. We all know, like police killings, a lot of civil unrest, protests. And what's the age range of the kids you guys had in the program?
In the summer program, they were all 17, 18, and actually I guess 2 of them turned 19 during the program.
So they're all kind of, getting independence, coming into their understanding of who they are as men and women. Yeah. And kind of recognizing the world around them. And when you look at the world around you, during that time in particular, especially when you're isolated and all of this stuff is going on, it's like we're back at Freddie Gray. And a lot of these kids were in middle school when Freddie Gray was killed. And they had the protests that shut down the bus system. And I also know MissionFit, at least this was in their thought process during the creation, that the kids needed somewhere to be after school when that actually happened. So I think that was part of the inception of MissionFit, if I'm not mistaken. So going back to the needs of the kids, how have you guys had to navigate some of that, the emotion that might have been brought about by those experiences, and those, just seeing those things on TV, social media, etc.?
So for me, I'm sure I'm going to ramble here. We had a youth football team come in, Tenacity Trojans, and I think more than a year ago now, one of their kids was shot, murdered, as the coach said specifically. And so, like, how I, navigate it, it's just as you said, the inception of it, that space is to kind of, this space is to try to decrease and prevent things like that from happening. So me personally, I'm trying to integrate that discussion with everything in MissionFit, because it's different where you can start as one of the reasons why something started, but then being able to have that wrapped up in all your messaging is a different thing.
Right.
And so what I'm trying to do is eventually create like a voice or a tone where it's just like, yes, MissionFit is a gym space. Yes, MissionFit is a safe space for youth. But yes, I'm not gonna cuss. Yes, we can
edit it out, man.
No. So yes, we're also here to speak up on all the crap when it comes to racial injustices and systemic oppression of minorities. So like, it's just really, we're probably going to lose some people. I know we are. We're probably going to lose some funders. I know we are, but it's just like, it's worth it because the messaging, it very much needs to be spoken on, because if it doesn't change, like you said, we brought him back to Freddie Gray, everything that's going on now, it's just like, if we're responsible for producing and mentoring, or at least being a stepping stone for future generations, we need to prepare. Like, we can't not talk about everything that's going on right now.
Right.
And so that's just my thing, whether it be on the big platform or whether it just be in these doors.
Yeah.
Because I know there's been, I think there has been some times, 1 or 2 times, when something has happened in this gym or something needed to be discussed, where I sent like the supervisors away. So, like, for example, Bridge is with the Baltimore City Police Department.
Yeah.
I think there's been times I've just asked them to step into the kitchen, and shut the door, and, I've talked with the kids or things of that nature. So it's just really having real discussions. I think that's what I'm personally doing right now, but I love the day when, a YouTube video can be made and promoted and not even care about, who we're going to lose, because we've created a brand that, it's not this or that, it's this.
Yeah, it's homogenous.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all one thing all the time.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And I mean, the people that you're serving, like the area that you're in, that's who you're going to impact the most. So, I mean, have you had to navigate any of that? I know you're a white person dealing with primarily black kids, right?
Yeah.
And it's evident, it's all around us. Like, have you ever had to talk to a kid when they might be affected by what they're seeing? Or have you ever suspected that they might be going through something just internally? And then how did you kind of move through that?
Yeah, I mean, I think back to your previous question of what I've learned, and building on that with this question, is just to say that I've learned and tried to be more receptive to what kids bring to the table at that point in time, just that day, like what they've been through that day, what they've been through that year, and how that's affecting them, without necessarily their conscious choices about it. I don't know that we had specific conversations about uprisings, about social justice, but we navigate the attitudes and the the unrest that they are experiencing in themselves.
Not even connected
becomes,
to necessarily CNN or Instagram or anything like that.
Exactly, just to their general feeling of disconnection.
That probably also stems from. My sister teaches in the city, and it was one point where we talked much more frequently, and she would just tell me about this kid who knows this person that got killed, and how like a lot of kids in the school just they're familiar with murder, and it's in front of you. Even if like sometimes the kids are getting, like you just said, the kid on the football team. So it doesn't even have to be something that's happening in Minnesota or in Minneapolis. Like this is Baltimore at the end of the day. But I definitely would encourage you guys to do as you were saying. Is just carry it with you. And Wes, like even just being adjacent, you're an ally just by virtue of your position in this community. So even if you're not speaking to exactly what to do, asking those questions as to what the kids need and listening, like you said, is probably going to be huge.
So what we did do is, while we weren't necessarily talking about Breonna Taylor or anything specific, we had long conversations about what it means to express emotions as a man, how to cope with fear and anger as a man. Like, who do you talk to? Like, what are your...
This is with your summer program?
Yeah, exactly. And we had a probably 2-hour-long conversation about, like, what is in your toolkit and how do you deal with this? What do you see? How have you learned to do what you do? Like, how you cope with things? Like, what strong men have you learned your coping mechanisms from?
Right.
And how do you think you should deal with it? And what does it mean to talk to a friend? What does it mean to journal? Like, what does meditation mean to you? And all of that things. So, while we might not have talked about the specific things that were causing this, we definitely talked a lot about different coping mechanisms and what it means to, like, be a strong man in Baltimore, a young man in Baltimore.
Okay, you guys on?
Yeah, so I'd also like to add onto something for Wesley as an ally. We had a conversation a while back, and I think, because of the position he's in and the opportunity he's afforded, I think his awareness has also increased. I remember, for this conversation, he was just like, "Oh, I didn't know this about myself." It was you were speaking about trying not to say specific situations, but I remember he was just like, I recognize me as a white man. I've recognized this is how I interact, with black youth, trying to uplift them always,
right.
But a lot of times, or maybe even more so now, certain communities of minorities don't want that anymore. They're tired of it. It's just like the white man or white people always trying to give money, always trying to do good. It's just like, if you really want to help us, you should be, dismantling systems or putting systems in place that allows us to do it ourselves. And I think Wesley came to that conclusion, whether you remember it or not. I remember you specifically told me this a few months ago. And I think it's because of his interaction in these spaces. He genuinely cares, but he doesn't know how. And I think that's another thing as allies is a huge thing. It's okay not to know, but if you don't ever ask questions, or if you don't approach uncomfortable situations, or if you aren't looking inside and really wrestling with tough topics, like, I want to do good, but is what I'm doing really the good that they need? Meeting people where they're at. Right? Yeah. So Wesley, I think the community that he surrounded himself at and where his heart and his mind is, his awareness as an ally has increased, even this last summer. So,
how do y'all navigate? So, is Uplift Fitness Club is just the two of us?
Yep.
Right now, like, it's people knew it as something different in college, but now it's me and Brad. You guys are our team, and you represent MissionFit, and you're the primary point of contact for me. Yeah. So, how has you guys' relationship grown? What has it been, 2 years?
Almost, yeah.
Almost 2 years?
Yep.
So, like, what did you start as? How has it changed, if it has changed? And what is it today?
So I'll speak on the relationship. because there's also the individual component as well. Both of us growing in our respective roles. But the relationship, I think the theme was always present that we care about MissionFit. We care about, we care about what MissionFit represents and the ideology of MissionFit. And I think that's homage a little bit to the predecessor, Jeffrey and Wendy.
That's my guy, man.
Yep, but I think that's the thing that really keeps the relationship present. You know, at times there's friction, at times we go apart, at times we go close, but we both understand and have never doubted that strengthening the mind, body, and community of Baltimore's youth is what we care about. You know, if MissionFit disappears, if this building's tore down, that's still there. That ideal is still there. That can happen anywhere. Even more so now, our gym's been closed. COVID's happening.
Right.
I don't want people in this space, me personally. We've been doing it outside. MissionFit isn't really associated with, you know, we're not doing a good job of marketing that, but all of our coaches are doing classes. Wesley's doing classes. You know, I'm trying to make sure, you know, that ideology stays present. And I think that's the thing that's really kept the relationship there. Because at the end of the day, if there's an individual dispute, we know that that's kind of something else. It has nothing to do with the ideology. It's more so with the ego, with how we're communicating. But I think we've never questioned, are we doing this for the right reasons? And I think that's the key thing in the relationship.
So having like that,
like
that linear focus, or like understanding what you're here for.
It's like foundation. I wouldn't even say linear, because it's just like, you know, oftentimes Wesley's line will be here. My line is here, but it started right here.
Right.
We're trying to get here, but rarely are we on the same path to there. So, but we both understand this is where we are, and we're communicating. This is where we're trying to take it, or at least we're trying to grow it. We may not know the details, but we know that. How would you like to?
Yeah, I would completely agree that the mission has unified us. And has driven us, and we always have known that the other person, we both want the same goals. We have been through the ringer as far as our relationship goes. To say that Joshua and I didn't and don't butt heads all the time would be a joke. It probably took us the better part of the first year to get on the same wavelength about communication and style and stuff like that. But what I think we've come to realize is, well, before I even get there, is I always want to say yes to things. And this is me like channeling that Jeff Blake energy, is like, dude, let's just do the classes for free, man. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, we got to say yes to this. We got to do this. Like, all the kids need this. And Joshua's like, we can't do that if we don't have the infrastructure to stand on. Like, if the organization is crumbling at its foundation, we cannot run our programs effectively.
Right.
And so me saying yes, and Joshua, my caricature of Joshua is him screaming logistics and me saying yes back at him, is like how we butt heads. But what we end up arriving at, because of that unifying mission, is like a really democratic system, which I think, and Joshua would likely agree, is that we arrive at decisions and policies that advance the organization probably in the best way, better than if it was just one of us.
Right.
And then just to go and dive deeper into the relational side, I mean, we jokingly refer to this as a marriage. And in a lot of ways, we've used like couples therapy techniques to support our development as partners and to support the organization. So every time we have a meeting, we start with praise. So Joshua will say something that he appreciates about me from the past week, month, or whatever it is, and I'll do the same for Joshua. And it's anything. It could be about work, but it's usually not about work. It could be about just, I appreciate that you're always who you are. You always give me truth and honesty. And then we've also used the technique, I think you brought to the table, the gut punch. And the concept of the gut punch is, I'm going to say, Nigel, I'm going to give you a gut punch. And the rules are...
Well, first, it's, do you have the capacity?
Yeah.
Are you Are you
Are you
available?
in the mind space?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So can I give you? Are you ready for that?
Okay.
And then the rules are, you're gonna let me speak, and you're not allowed to really respond to it for 24 hours.
Dang.
So by the time,
Hey.
it's literally it's
tough.
couples
You gotta
therapy,
bring that
right?
home.
That's tough.
That's it's been used in relationships.
You gotta
for
sit
sure.
on it. You gotta sit.
So by the time you come back to it, you're like, okay, I've processed this. There is truth in what he's saying, and he's not just saying this to put me down or something like that. He's trying to uplift me through this. It's bruising my ego, maybe, but there's truth there, and I can recognize that I might come back with some level of defensiveness, but I'm not just going to come back with the defensiveness that I would have if he met me with it, and I was like, oh no,
you can respond right away.
Right.
I was when you were saying that, I was thinking that like if you were literally gonna punch someone in the gut, what are they gonna do? They're gonna tense up and they're be ready for it.
Yeah.
And it's just your hands gonna bounce right back.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's actually a really dope concept.
Have you ever tried to manipulate the praise?
What you mean?
Like, you have an issue, Wes, with saying no. Have you ever said, I love when you say no.
I'm quite positive. Like I am very much positive. I have maybe not as direct as that,
Right.
but I remember, yeah. There's been a lot of times where, I didn't want to shut him down, but when I guided him a certain direction and he just received it.
That's like when you're working with the dog, to bring it back to where we started. Like you don't just tell the dog no, you tell the dog, like you give them an alternative. But with people, you can kind of articulate why, as opposed to just saying do something else.
Yeah.
So that's dope. Just a reframing of that. But right, manipulating. What do you say?
Manipulating the narrative, the
Praise, manipulating praise. Yeah. What's the dopest thing that the thing that you would be the most proud of? Like maybe an event, a program that you guys have run, maybe an interaction with a kid, one of the youths. What's the dopest experience you guys have had so far since being at MissionFit?
You need some time?
Yeah.
So I have several. I have like a personal one, I have a business one, like a growth one, and then I'll focus on the youth one, since it seems like that's the direction you were going in. For me, it was a kid came in here. He was the oldest kid in this group. Not by too much, but when you're the only one who's, we'll say like 14 and the rest of the kids are like 10, you get that mindset like I won't be here. Right. There's no one to relate with. You want to talk about this. They want to listen to Kids Bop. And so first month, he would do stuff. He wasn't like, leave me alone, but still apathetic, nonchalant. And then one day I gave him a workout and all the kids did it and he was the only one who picked up the heaviest kettlebell. And then next time he came in, he was like, let's do this again. And then time after that, he was like, because he knew he was the only one. Right? All the other kids in that group couldn't do it. He was the only one who did it. And then one other kid did it, and he was like I saw. He's like, oh no. He's like, I'm not number one no more. He was like, hey coach, let's try 2 of them. Right? So he grabbed 2 of the heaviest kettlebell, picked them up. No, and then I think he did it I was like, if you do it once, you succeed. I think he kind of knew what was up. There was some threat in the group. He did that thing 10 times. And it was just he came in there initially. He's just like, whatever. This is the hour in and out. And then now he's over here walking up to me. He was like, can we? Can we do this? Can we do that? And I was like, all right. So that victory was one of several that I've had where, we do what we're meant to do. Getting the kid moving, getting them want to move. And I have no problem with them telling me what the workout is. A kid who'll do that, you make my job easy. But then also you're not really here for the workout. We're here for those deeper layers that, Wesley said we're using exercise as a vehicle. So that's my youth specific dope moment.
Wes, you got one?
Yeah, I got a couple business ones as well, but as far as youth go, I'd say one was probably 1.5 years ago. A young man came in here because he'd been sneaking into the YMCA to start working out there. So he was trying to use football as a way to get to college.
Oh man! Oh, I need to holler at that kid, man. That's what's up. Go ahead.
And I guess like a month ago, I drove him to college.
He playing football?
Yeah.
He got a scholarship.
Yep.
He got a full ride via football
That's
to
dope.
go to school, and I got the chance to drop him off at school, and it was just it was awesome. Like I could cry about it right now, just like thinking about it.
Also, to add on to that specific kid, like the predecessors prior to me and Wesley are doing something right. That same kid found out Jeff had left, that there was a new executive director. He walked during winter. I think it was the start of winter. He walked 4 miles because the bus route didn't come here. Had no other way. Just to introduce himself, just say what's up. And he was like, literally shook my hand. Was like, this is who I am. Turned around, ready to head back home. Like, I was just like, bro, like, you came here just for that? Like, I was just like, your parents, Jeff, you got a lot of people who are raising you right. And, you're definitely a good, outstanding young man. Of course, I didn't let him walk back home, but, but like, and then there's been at least 2 other stories of prior to me being in this role, same thing.
Yeah.
Kids who were here year 1, came back just to say what's up.
That's dope.
So,
Would you say that's where you pull your motivation from? I mean, how do you guys stay motivated to continue to do what you do day in, day out?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's like I said. I think it's high highs and low lows, and it's just feeding on those high highs and letting them drive you, and really focusing on those and letting them blow you forward. Yeah.
So for me, I wouldn't say I use that to fuel me as motivation. It's validation that I know we're doing something, but I think what keeps me pushing forward, I learned this in undergrad, I learned this from my fraternity, everyone has a selfish reason. There might be some 100% altruistic people out there. I'm not one of them. I have the charity side of me, but I also have the side that's doing this for me. And so it's just really something that really, not all the time, but a lot of time gets me excited, is turning this aesthetically into a space, that's dope to me. When I envision how I want this space to look, what makes me excited is sharing it and showing it off to all the other people and having them use it and saying that they love it.
It's like a chef.
Yeah.
Like if you prepare this 5-course meal, 5-star meal for people, most of the time the chef don't even want to eat it.
Nope.
Just want it to look perfect and taste amazing, and have people tell them that it tastes amazing. That gratification. That's dope.
I think you put it perfectly. It's like that chef has prepared that dish. It's numerous times before he gave it to the customer. He's thought about it, he or she, day or night. I know, when I get it, I'm just gonna be like,
I know,
all right,
this is what it's supposed to taste like.
I've been thinking about this for 4 years. So
that's what it's supposed to look like. I've been listening to Anita Baker all day.
Oh, that's my crush.
Listen, man, it's I forget which song it is. I'm not even gonna try to remember, but it's a specific line. I believe it's gonna be what you want it to be. If I believe it's gonna be what you want it to be, and the person who put me on to that line in that song, E.T. man, E.T. And it's just like, man, if you believe it, at some point it's gonna happen. Whether it's here or the next place that you go, that's gonna be something that if you hold on to it long enough, it's gonna happen. Hey man, I just started my home gym. I'm talking about a home gym. Man, I'm just thinking about the opportunities. I just wanted to be there so fast. Like last night, Wes knows about this. I just bought a bunch of weight off of the gym that closed in my area. And as soon as I got it, that just actuated the entire rest of the plan. We bought the flooring, we bought the daggone bench, all kind of stuff. But like I wanted to be done now. And I'm spray painting the weights in the house. And my mom's upstairs, she's like, you can't spray paint this anymore. Like, I smell it upstairs. And I'm mad. I've been waiting for this, but I just had to take a minute to think about it. I'm like, Najee, why are you angry about this? Like, all this opportunity laying on your floor, literally, and you're focused on getting it done tonight. It's going to be here tomorrow. So like I had to apologize to her just for taking advantage of her situation, her kindness, and just check myself. But I mean, it's relevant to what we're talking about. Like, y'all have a relationship with each other and with the kids and with the community, and having that drive and that ambition, coupled with, you know, the purpose of the organization, is going to propel it forward as long as you're committed to it. Mm-hmm. So I feel it, man. Hey, you're doing big things, man.
Yeah, we are
doing big, and the fact that y'all have continued to serve people throughout COVID, I feel like it's amazing. And you know, regardless of how, it's the what. Yeah. So I want to commend y'all for just, you know, staying committed to it.
Like real talk, I'm gonna say that it wasn't. Remember earlier I said that, you know, even if MissionFit didn't exist, the ideas are still carried out. So I'm gonna keep it, you know, like a real. I feel like MissionFit hasn't really done anything during COVID. We're preparing once we decide to open our spaces, but all the coaches that have been in our doors and that don the logo and name of MissionFit, like, they're the ones that are doing everything. And that's why I say, like, I think it's MissionFit is an idea.
Yeah.
Like, you know, yourself, you've continued doing stuff, you've started stuff during COVID. You know, me, I'm trying to get certain curriculum developed with other coaches in Columbia, my mentors. Wesley's doing Thursday Strength Club and really mentoring youth nonstop during COVID. We have a few other coaches who are at Lake Montebello, right outside at Sisson Park, at you know, the marketplace, doing stuff. So none of them, it's not like MissionFit, but even before MissionFit existed, I'm sure they were doing this stuff, and luckily we found them and met them. So it's really props to the coaches, to the community. It's not really MissionFit.
That's right.
So,
all right, man. I think we can wrap there, man. I think this is something that's going to continue to be, you know, a dialogue. We can have you guys back on again. I appreciate you guys coming on, kind of short notice. You know, we shot a few days ago, but we want to give y'all a token of our appreciation. And there's no problem.
These are fresh, man. These are fresh.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I like it.
All right, so y'all officially part of the team, y'all part of the family, you understand? I know we got a lot of big things planned for the future, as far as collaboration and with the kids also. So if we can actuate some of that stuff, I think it's gonna be really impactful.
Write it down.
You can't wait your whole life to make a change.
Believe in yourself.
Innovate.